Alright, so in the previous few lectures, we have been discussing data analysis with Python and with Pandas. And so far, so good. We have discussed quite a few functions. In the last lecture, I believe we left off with the IX and the head and all that random stuff. Or I mean good stuff, I'm sorry, not random. And in this lecture, we're going to talk about something called joining. So many times we'll have many different data sets or many different data frames, and at the end of the day you want all that data to be in one single data frame. So to do that, Pandas has created a function, and that function is called merging. Okay, so the function itself is pd.merge, but there are 4 different ways you can actually merge. So the first way is, there's 4 different parameters you can pass in while merging: left, right, outer, inner. So let's go ahead and discuss all 4 of those concepts. Before that, even we have to create 2 different data sets or 2 different data frames. Let me go ahead and do that. So left frame, I'm going to call this frame 1 and frame 2. So import pandas as pd. And then we're going to create 2 frames, frame 1 and frame 2. So frame 1 is equal to pd.dataFrame. And then we're going to say, we're going to be creating a dictionary like we did, I think, in the first lecture of data frames. So it's going to be key and value. So key. And instead of doing an array, I'm just going to do range of 5. So range 5 will return 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And comma, let me go ahead and get one more. So we got key, and then let's do frame 1 value. Let me just do frame 1. So frame 1 and colon range 2, 7. So we're doing a bit different values here. So 2, 7. Okay. Or I'm sorry. So we have key as 5, and then let's go ahead and just put an array of letters. We weren't supposed to do numbers. So it's numbers for key and letters for the next value. So go ahead and put any you want. I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. And then let's go ahead and create frame 2. So frame 2 is equal to pd.dataFrame. Same thing, except go ahead and change up the key values this time. Do it like this, so do range 2, 7 this time. So some numbers will overlap, some won't. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you all the different ways we can get these values. So frame 2, A, B, C, D, E. So let's do T, U, V, W, and X, T, U, V, W, X. Okay, so that looks good. These are our 2 data frames. So let's go ahead and talk about merging now. Printing out frame 1, what do we get? We get frame 1 and key. Let's go ahead and print out frame 2. You get frame 2 and key. Okay, so all of that's good. There's not much to what we're going to be doing right now, but basically the concept is pd.merge, and then you specify what 2 are you merging. We're going to be merging our frame 1 and frame 2. And then you can also specify on what you are on what you're merging and how you're merging. Okay, so we're merging on the value key. So whatever the key values were, we want to merge those. In the sense of, we're going to say key is equal to, or I'm sorry, on is equal to key. Okay, so if you don't put anything after that, if you hit enter, you get 0, 1, 2, CDE, 2, 3, 4, TUV. Okay, the way this looks like right now is you have frame 1, which got the CDE values. You had 2, 3, and 4. These were the overlapping pairs, if you remember, because in range 5 you get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and range 2, 7 you get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the 2, 3, 4 were overlapping, and that's exactly what's been picked. So that's what happens when you don't specify how. Now let's go ahead and specify how, and some different results will happen. So how is equal to right. And by doing so, what happens? We get frame 1 is equal to CDE non, key is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and frame 2 is equal to TUVWX or VWX, okay? So when we specified how is equal to right, we basically said keep frame 2's values the way they are, don't change them. If frame 1 doesn't have those values, then go ahead and put null. So that's exactly what it's done. It's taken frame 2 to be that superior frame, hasn't changed anything about it, but it has changed frame 1's values. Since frame 1 didn't have a key of 5 and 6, that's why none and none are there. So the exact same way right works, the exact same way left works, okay? So if you try putting left here, now frame 1 is full. So frame 1 has A, B, C, D, E, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. K frame 2, however, only has T, U, V. The upper two are empty. So this was right and left. Basically, if you want one graph to be, or one data frame to have priority over the other, you're going to specify that one should have its values intact. Now, the other two are outer and inner. Outer basically uses union of keys from both frames, okay? So outer in this sense would be if you specify outer, let's go ahead and instead of left do outer. What do you get? You get everything. It doesn't matter if it has it or if it doesn't. You're just joining both data frames together. So the full key list comes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Frame 1 is complete, frame 2 is complete, and then at the places where it's not, where the key couldn't find a value, that's where the NaN is coming, the null value. So PD.outer is basically merging both data frames without any that sense that if there's no value, then that's fine. And inner is the default one. So inner is the first value that we got up top, and inner is where if both of them have it, so if frame 1 and frame 2 both have the same key, only then will it be displayed. So since frame 2 and frame 1 had 2, 3, 4, the same keys, that's how it was displayed, okay? So this was merging. Now there is also a concept called concat. The way that works is pd.concat, and then you do left or frame 1, comma frame 2. And basically what happens in concat is it's repetition. So whatever was in frame 1, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, frame 1, frame 2 didn't really have anything of those, and then frame 1 will come none for frame 2's value. So it's a bit confusing, concat. It's not something I'd always recommend using, but it's something you can always do. Now, right now, this is coming one on top of the other. So suppose you wanted to do it side by side, you can also use the axis parameter. So pd.concat frame 1 comma frame 2 comma axis is equal to 1. And by doing that, now instead of coming one on top of the other and getting these nons, it has been concatenated side by side. So now we don't have that error. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, frame A, B, C, D, E, key 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, frame 2 is T, U, W, V, W, X, and key 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, there is no union. The concept of union and all that stuff is gone. In this case, it's just based on the index, okay? So if there's 5 values in frame 1, 5 values in frame 2, then it's going to show like this, okay? So in this lecture, we basically learned how to concatenate and how to merge data frames. So we learned the 4 ways how to do it. There's right, left, outer, inner, and then we learned the pandas way of doing it using the concat function. All right, so awesome job, and I'll see you in the next lecture.